Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. This is going to be a short video. I just thought I'd show you guys my 4 levels of electricity backup. So my first one is this one right here that you can see. This is a Champion generator. Very noisy. It's one of those noisy ones. But it's a 8,500 watt generator. And it's already hooked up to my house through a 30 amp wire. And it'll power my entire house. With the exception of the dryer, of the clothes dryer. I can run everything else, including the water heater, off of this generator, but not the clothes dryer. Because the clothes dryer usually, depends on what year you have, how old it is, but a clothes dryer will usually run around 3,000 watts or more. So I wouldn't want to put that much of a load on this generator. Now, as far as fuel consumption, so I try to keep about 50 gallons of gasoline on hand. And this generator here eats a lot of gas, drinks a lot of gas, however you want to say it. So I would only use this generator to power my house in a short-term event. This thing will power our house, and I have enough gas to probably last us about, I would say 2 weeks. If I was running it, almost all day long, because this thing will go through about 5 gallons of gasoline in about, I would say about 15, 16 hours. So I would have enough gas for roughly, 7, 10, 14 days if I were just using this. Now, if it was a systemic power failure, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. There's a jet going right over me. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. So like I was saying, if it's like a systemic power failure, I definitely would not use this. I would use something else, and I'm going to show you what that is, which would be my third and fourth option. But I have a second backup to this one that doesn't power as much, but it is very reliable, and it will definitely power enough for us to continue to have the things that we have to have. So this is my first backup to electricity. I've had this Champion for about 10 years. Never let me down before, and I have used this thing a lot. Now you may ask, why do I have the generator in this tent right here? So as you can see, this is just a small tent. It's just like my fuel tent. It's actually the same kind of tent as my fuel tent. But what I did in here is I went ahead and insulated all of the sides except for the floor. And in the winter, what I do is I put my snowblower right here in this empty spot, and I close it in. And if it's ever like negative 30, negative 40 degrees outside, it is extremely difficult to start something that's not warm in those temperatures. So what I would do is I would go get my big buddy, and I would probably leave it in there for about 10 or 15 minutes. Makes it a lot easier to start. I don't know if any of you have ever tried starting something with an internal combustion engine that's like negative 30 or 40, but it's extremely difficult and hard on the machinery. So I like to bring the temperature in there at least up to 0 if it's that cold, so that I can safely start my machinery without breaking it down. So let's head on over to my other tent, and I'll show you my second backup, which is really a backup to this in case this fails me. This here, ladies and gentlemen, is a Craftsman 10 horsepower generator, and I believe it's just a 5,000 watt generator, which is why I use it as a backup. Now this will be able to power my entire house without the dryer, the clothes dryer, or the water heater. So if I had to back up to this, I would have to power the house. I would be able to power everything in the house with the exception of my water heater and my clothes dryer. So this is a pretty good backup. And the reason I have this actually is because a couple of years ago, this was on Craigslist for $150. Now, in case you guys don't know about generators, this is like a $500 generator. And I was wondering why the guy was selling it. And it's pretty much brand new. It looks kind of dirty and everything, but it's because I've left it out in the rain. But it's in excellent condition. The guy that sold it to me says that he got it just in case power ever went out, but it's never gone out. And he had it for a really long time and never really used it. So I started it up at his house. It started right up. And all I do with this generator for maintenance is I just make sure that once a year I come out here and that I start it up and that it starts fine. And then I put in about maybe a pint of gasoline in there with a little bit of Stay-Bil in it. And then I let it run until it runs out of gas, and then I just let it sit here. So this would be my backup to my Champion generator, and I would still be able to power my house with this one right here. And let me see if I can show you. It does have a 30 amp plug that I can put in my house, the same 30 amp plug that the other generator takes. So this right here is actually a pretty good generator. I actually started it up here a few days ago, and it started right up. So this is my backup to my backup. Now I'm going to show you my backup to my backup to my backup. All right, so we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my third backup to losing electricity. However, this backup is one that I would use in conjunction with my fourth backup, which I will show you here in a second, or more like a minute. All right. So let's say we have a systemic failure of the grid, and it's going to be a long time. This here would run only the essentials in my house. It would power my Toyo stove in the main part of my house and the downstairs of my house. It would power my water pump, and it would power my refrigerator and freezer. That's it. All right, that's the bare minimums. It would not even power my hot water heater. This would be the very bare minimum. However, when I use this in conjunction with my fourth backup, you'll see where it's a good pair. So this here will give you about roughly 8 hours of runtime on 2 gallons of gasoline. So I would only run this for 8 hours a day, which means that my 50 gallons of gasoline would only last me about 25 days. I might be able to stretch it to a month, but I would only run this 8 hours a day. And when I use it in conjunction with my fourth backup, you'll see why it would still work. Because if it's wintertime, I need electricity pretty much all throughout the night in order to be able to heat my home, right? And that's not taking into consideration the non-electric heater that I had installed that runs on propane. All right, so let's say that we were just running on the Toyo and that we needed electricity for that. What I would do is use this for 8 hours a day, which would last me roughly 30 days. And then I'm going to take you over to my fourth backup, and I'll show you why it would make a good pair with this generator. Now, for those of you that may ask, why haven't I taken this out of the box yet? Because I did do a video on this a while back showing you guys when I first got it. And it was actually months ago. I think it was in December. So almost a year ago, like 10 months ago. This is not the same one. I ended up bringing the other one back that I had gotten from Costco's, and I repurchased pretty much the same one. I think this one's a little bit different. I won't go into why I brought it back right now, but I just got this one not too long ago. So this weekend I'm going to go ahead and prep this one up, make sure it works and that everything's good with it. This is my Yeti 1000, and it's made by Gold Zero. And I showed you guys this when I got it a few months back. And what this does is, this would be able to power both of my Toyo stoves, all right, so both of my heaters, the one in my main house and the one downstairs, and one of my refrigerators for pretty much a full week, as long as it's fully charged. So what I will do with this in the wintertime is I will always have this plugged in to make sure it's always fully charged. And if power goes out, I can at least take this, bring it next to my Toyo stove, and plug it into this, and my Toyo stove will start right back up. Now, in a grid failure situation where we were going to be out of power for, let's say, more than a couple of weeks, I would go ahead and use my small generator along with this. Now, my small generator, I would run it for 8 hours, so approximately 1.5 to 2 gallons of fuel or gas. And then at the same time that I was running the things that I needed to run, I would plug this in, and this will charge up in about 8 hours or so. And what I'm thinking is that by the time that I have to recharge it the next day, this is not going to be completely out of power, and I'll be able to keep it fully charged every time that I run that small generator. So I'll be able to at least have that small generator running throughout the day and do some of the things that I need to do, like have the water pump running, maybe even run my hot water heater for a couple of cycles. We can take a shower every other day or so. And then also have this plugged in so it can be charging while that small generator is running, and then we can use this throughout the night to power our stoves and just some simple lights. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be about it. I hope you got something out of that video, or at least got some ideas. If you did, go ahead and leave it in the comments. What things would you do to optimize your electricity from whatever devices you may have? Now, that solar generator that I have, that Yeti 1000, I do have solar panels for it. However, I didn't hook them up this year because I had so much things going on in my back deck, and I didn't want them to get damaged. But next year they will be going up. And I have 400 watts of solar panels for that. And I do believe that with 400 watt solar panels, it takes like 7 or 8 hours to recharge that. So during the summer at least, I'll have a pretty reliable source of electricity should I need it, just with that generator and the solar panels. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just leave your comments below. I hope you guys got something out of this, but go ahead and give us your ideas on what you would do, you know, for electricity backup, so that we can all share in your guys' experience and knowledge. And I truly do like the comments, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still able to read all the comments, even though we're getting more and more as time goes on. But I do enjoy the comments. First of all, let me say thank you very much. Well, not first of all. One of the last things that I'll say now is thank you very much to all of the new subscribers. You guys, I do appreciate you joining the community. And I just want you to know that the community as a whole is a lot better than the content that I provide. So please take advantage of the community members. If you have any questions or any knowledge to hand out, please put it in the comments so that we can all learn from each other. I just happen to have a great discussion back and forth with someone that actually did not agree with me. And I was actually going to do a video on it to show you all what a good discussion looks like when you don't agree with someone. But this, and I forgot what video it was for, but we were talking about wealth and wealth preservation, and we completely 100% disagreed with each other on almost everything. However, this gentleman was very civil, and he wasn't facetious, and he just didn't sound like he had a mean bone in his body. He was just trying to explain to me where he thought that my downfalls were in my argument, and I did the same with him. And we went back and forth for like 6 or 7 replies and comments, and it was very productive, to tell you the truth. We ended up agreeing to disagree because his logic and his ideals when it comes to wealth preservation and money and things like that are completely opposite to what I believe in. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's what's great about this platform, is that if you're an adult, you can actually have a conversation with someone else and get their side of the story without you having to be mean to each other. And I think that was great. So if you're listening to this video and you actually got this far, and you're the one that I had that conversation with, thank you very much. I know I let you have the last word, and your last reply was somewhat in the fashion of you kind of like me wanting to reply back, but I'm just done replying. There comes a point where you have to understand that you're not going to change each other's minds, no matter what you put in front of each other. And I do appreciate the conversation. I think it was very, very good. I love talking about money and things like that, so it was very good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting to talk and talk and talk, and I'm going to let you guys go now. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much to all the new subscribers. Thank you very much to all the Patreons. You guys are awesome. Remember that my Buy Me a Coffee account is still accepting for the homeless shelter that I'm going to be using that money to donate to, hopefully by the end of this month. So if you guys are able to and want to, by all means, click on the link, and I give you my word that that money will be going to the homeless shelter, and not only some of it, but every single penny of it that I collect will be going to the homeless shelter. And I will do a video to show you guys what I got. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.